really slowly, otherwise Steve and Gordon are going to end up schooling him. Move the, oh, this is an adventure. I think I'm going to run off to the Hive and have some lunch and wait for it to come back. That's my only backup plan. 18th of February, first day of farming for 2025. Sprayers are out. 2 self-propels have started today. They're doing post-ems on post herbicides now on the wheats. So getting that done, then they're going over to Bedford to do the same, and then we're going to start with the liquid fertilizer. The 3 tankers are here now, so they've arrived. So we've got them. This one we get from Sayers. We've been using them for probably about 7 years now. We run 3 tankers to keep the sprayers going. When we're delivering, they go to Yarmouth to pick up the fertilizer from Brianfo through Frontier, bring it backwards and forwards. We've got some tanks as well, which we then use as a shuttle, but we run the 3 tankers so we can go backwards and forwards to the to the port and pick it up directly. It's almost quicker for us. Just having a look, the sun's shining today. It's a completely different day. It's a really nice day. And just looking at the futures wheat. So this store here is for futures, which means that people can bid on this here. And you can see we have to have a sign that we have in the front. We just took this out when we're going in to check the temperatures and check there's no bugs and all those sort of things, which we do weekly. And here are all the lot numbers. So these are 100-ton lot numbers, and they relate to what's in this store. And then these get bought either by the people who've put them on or by the people who have who want to buy a large stock of wheat. So this is on the futures market. So it's busy out here. There's one sprayer which is now just filled up. It's coming around the corner. Because the diggers are running, it's a bit mucky out there. The boys on the grade store won't be so happy because suddenly he'll be putting mud across the head. We'll be going really slowly. Otherwise, Steve and Gordon are going to end up schooling him. So we've got the electricians are working here. We've got some subcontractors who've come to try and help us catch up a bit. We're putting in like the oil interceptor, that sort of thing, so that any spillages from any diesel, anything gets caught and doesn't end up into the watercourse. Glyn's on holiday this week, so Sandy's on Glyn's machine, so we're not running the 2 trails. And we're moving soil, so it was frosty this morning and enabled them to start getting some soil up the mound with the dumpers, and then so they're loading the soil up, which they dug out when they dug for the concreted area at the front of this store, taking advantage of the bit of dry we're having. Travelling well with the sprayers, surprised. It's chucking a bit of mud off, but it's not creating deep ruts or anything like that, so we're going well. So I think now we've got the sprayers running, we'll now just start cracking on. The guys will keep the sprayers going 5 days a week this time of year, and then they'll start to get onto liquid fert, and then as we get into March they'll start to increase their number of days they work and number of hours as the light starts to get work with us. At the moment it's difficult to feel enthusiastic in the middle of the night spraying, so once the sun comes out it gets a bit easier. So yeah, we're getting some progress. The yard is alive. There's a breakdown in the grain store. I think something's happened to one of the belts. I haven't been in to have a look. There are times when it's good to appear and not good not to appear, so I'll wait until I see them smiling. But yeah, good day today. First day, it's Tuesday, feels like the first day of spring. First day we can actually start to crack on now and start getting something done. The guys are pleased. Kieran said he's fed up of hanging around the farmyard and that sort of thing, so he'll be pleased to get out there. So yeah, it'd be good to get these sprayers running now and start making some waves. So here's Steve, he's loading Shamrock. Steve loads, I would think, probably in the region of about 130,000 tonnes a year with this forklift. Something like that. He'll probably correct me and say it's more, but I mean, he's an outstanding man. Just such a great guy. It's wonderful when you have some people which work for you, just hold them in such high regard. But yeah, it's a lot of tonnage with that forklift. We have tried it with a loading shovel, but loading shovels seem to make a load of destruction. And see this solar panel out here, that solar panel, now that one there is not facing the same as the second one. So where's the sun? So they're supposed to turn, yeah. Technically the first one's okay, the second one doesn't seem to be at the right angle. So we had a problem with one this morning where it had broken a bolt which is on the ram which moves it around, so it's sort of in a layman's position. So they've changed the bolt and whatever, but it doesn't seem to have, it's got itself upset. It hasn't got itself in the right place yet. So fingers crossed they'll be able to fix that, and then that will go back to normal. So the point of the solar is that will do 34% more efficient than the statics because they follow the sun, and that angle allows the greater efficiency. But I put them in 2011, so what's that now? It's 14 years, so they're not without their problems. So we have to obviously get a bit of help fixing them, or we try and do it ourselves. At the moment we're doing trying to do it ourselves, which is okay. And we've got Simon, who's a great engineer, so it shouldn't be out of his capability. So he was working on that when there was a little frost this morning, got the cherry picker up there, because I didn't want ruts. Managed to get it, I think, back together, but for some reason it hasn't tripped itself. I think he's gone there recently, just took a bolt out again, nipped up to Boone's to see if he can find the bolt, because it seems to be an Imperial bolt, where when I started farming, Imperial was quite common on the farm. Now we don't have any Imperial bolts, it's all metric. So he's gone to Boone to see if he can get some Imperial bolts to try and put that back together. Well, they'll probably come back and find it wasn't Imperial, it was something like Wentworth or whatever it was. I remember when I first came here, there was a whole load of a different type of bolt I'd never heard of. Good. It feels very different when the sun starts to shine and people start to get out the yard and start doing something. And then suddenly there's a lot more optimism about life. So fingers crossed, we're hoping we're going to have some big crops now. I said last year that I wanted to have really big crops. Hold on a second. This car won't switch itself off on the steering seat belts, whereas the previous one, if you did it something like 14 times, they clicked off. This one won't do it, it refuses. I've been to Land Rover twice and asked them to do it, but they won't do it. It's so annoying. Last year I was hoping it was going to be a really big year, and it was probably one of the worst, I would think, in terms of yield, with a 30% drop. But I'm really hoping this is going to be the year. There's nothing better from massive crops coming in off the field. Of course, they generally follow with low prices, but that aside, big crops means that you feel like a proper farmer if you're bringing in some big yields. And I think we're due some big yields. We want some big yields in, so we feel like proper farmers again. Second concrete lorry. There's the first backing on now, backing onto the pump, getting ready. And then they've got this pump all set up in the shed ready, so they'll start when all the rest of the guys get here this morning. There's Chris. Got his coffee. Your van's back, Chris. Van's back. What sort of a job have they done? What about that side dent?
Yeah, that gets done when we send it in.
Just they didn't do it?
No, they didn't do that, no. I did ask.
Oh.
You have to try, don't you?
Chris's son is brutal to the van. Yeah, twice he's hit it. We're banning him from using anything with an engine, aren't we, Chris?
Yeah, a steering wheel.
Yeah, anything with a steering wheel he's not allowed on. Well, a digger doesn't have a steering wheel, we're counting that as well. Anything that moves.
Anything that moves, yeah.
I notice he doesn't hit his own his own car, does it? No. I spoke to Dave about the shed. Yeah. Mark. I think I might leave my mark on him. What do you think?
P.X branding.
I'll go get a branding iron like Yellowstone and give him a good old burn on. But that would mean I'd have to keep him.
Yeah, you'd have to keep him. You wouldn't be able to get rid of him.
Yeah, well, do you think the government will give me a payment for keeping him?
Worth an ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
They give a lot of other ones out.
Yeah. I think he might not be the right type. Here they are. Here's the sons are turning up now. Look, the father's already in the barn. Yeah. The sons are just rocking up. Yeah. So the concreting is done in the shed of dreams. It's laid. So now the 3 bays have been done. We've got the doors down just to make sure it doesn't get affected by the temperatures. Really pleased. It can really start to see. When we got the conference in here, I can hear the echo already, and I'm speaking on my own. I wouldn't need a microphone. So Tom's trying to work out, he's going to have banners going all the way around the outside of all the sponsors and everybody going around to try and help with the sound. But Unless, of course, it's a really sunny day, we can have it outside like a festival or something. But yeah, so this is going to be the conference room. And yeah, the machines will get to live in here soon, which will make such a difference to the business. Having them, I can't wait for April 26th when I get to extend it further. That's when it's a real man shed then. I have to call it the man shed of dreams rather than just shed of dreams. So as he took that tree down from scratch?
Yeah. First came this morning, that was probably up to the bottom of that first cylinder. And he's worked that down. I've just put my hand across it, it's about 300mm diameter on that stump.
Right.
That models, they rate it to about 170mm. You know, diameter, they always give a guideline, but if you go slowly, you can plane stuff down a lot bigger.
So he can now clear all of the, he can clear all of this bramble now to get to the ditch to allow Graham, who's obviously coming along here.
That's it.
You see, Graham, he's not that far behind him, is he really?
No, he's been working that way. We just took a bush to the other side of that hedge.
Yeah.
We're taking out those stump on that side, so now he's taking that right down to the back side before he came.
Well, we have to have a hedge on one side or the other, but we can't have them on both.
Right. Yeah.
We've got to be able to clear it.
So you've got to sacrifice one of them, or
yeah.
Yeah, I see.
So the great thing about that machine is it will coppice it down.
Yes.
To the floor.
Yeah.
And then Graham can get on and get the water cleared, and he's dropped the water level. But yesterday, for example, he found quite a lot of. This is an IDB ditch, and they haven't been digging it out. And then he dug down, and he's found at least 4 land drains, which have been submerged.
Underneath the level, right? Yeah. So the water level on the land will fall away a lot quicker now.
And then we'll dry some of these wet headlands up.
No, Sandy was impressed as well compared to the flail machine we had on Hive. The amount of mulch you were getting, it chopped it up, because under that hood there's like 4 rows of counter blades, so that's where you get your chip. So you're clearing everything down to a fine mulch, and then it'll just rot down.
He has to do it in stages, doesn't he?
Yes.
Not much different from a hedge cutter.
No, exactly.
Do a bit, go again. Do a bit, go again. What is it? Is it 1.2 metres?
That's 1.25 metres on the rotor. Okay. In that model, you can get a metre wide and a 1.5 metre. But that's suited for this sort of size and your flow rate.
Right. So that's a JCB 130. So by the sound of it, it's using all of the hydraulic power on that.
It's on a max 120 litres per minute. But on that, there's a variable displacement pump. Motor, so you can adjust it from 40cc to 63. So we've probably got that down under 50cc now. I've sort of wound it up, so there'll be about over 2,500 RPM at the rotor now.
See, the problem is, it's good what he's doing that, because he'll get that down to the floor. If you don't, the hedge cutter or the mower hits it, and it bends them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can appreciate that.
So he'll get that cleared, and then get all that bramble out of there, and he'll have to do a bit this side as well.
Yeah, Graham worked some stumps down further down a bit, and he took them out because obviously for that reason, so you can get your hedger clear.
Right. You need a bit of patience on it, don't you?
Yeah. Those pipes are a bit too long on there, because we've just taken them off that other machine, so you would normally have those hydraulic pipes a little bit shorter here.
Okay, yeah.
But also it's got, I don't know if you notice on the back, it's got a hydraulic door on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So when you're going into tall brush and brash to start with, you can allow the material to grab at the rotor.
So it's quick release.
Well, on your hammer, see the hammers there? Oh, so a quick release on there.
Quick release, and then it's literally push fit connectors.
Exactly.
So you could drop it off and put your bucket on and go digging again.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the.
So what you got on here? You got reversible hammers. There's 2 options on this model.
Yeah.
These are reversible types. So these are quite good as well if you wanted to lower a hedge and get a nice finish. But then there's a tungsten carbide, so if you're doing more groundwork and with stone.
Yeah.
And then the nice thing about this is what they call their performance cut. So this is like a bite limiter. So if it can only take. So this will ride on the stump.
Oh yeah.
So it saves it grabbing.
Dragging itself in. Okay, got it.
Keep your RPM up.
Yeah.
And then that just
nibble.
It's like you have on a chainsaw. You have a little blade
the guard.
set. Exactly. And then if you look in there as well, James, you've got 4 rows of counter blades. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what
that's
in a
the
sense
mulching
is where
part.
your mulching part. So you're breaking everything down to a fine chip.
How much is something like this?
That is list price 21,000 for that. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then,
But, I mean,
then attachments on top. Attachments are on top.
Oh, are they?
And
right.
when we sell to
Sandy
customer,
said to me a minute ago, wish he'd had this
at the start of the season.
start of the season.
Yeah.
It is a completely different
Completely
route to the
different,
flail
yeah,
we've been
yeah,
using, isn't it? Because
yeah.
obviously this is a mulcher, but actually we're getting now to the ditches that have perhaps been left, one for a better word, because this is difficult stuff to clear up, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, even by hand, that's a fair job, isn't it? With chainsaws and pulling and
so down to ground as well.
These mulchers actually, you know, potentially coming to it. It was brand new, was it? Come straight from Spain?
It was, yeah. Came in about 3 weeks ago.
It is Spain, not Italy.
Yes,
isn't it?
Spain, northern Spain,
That's right.
A Corona.
Okay.
And then you've got 5-belt drive
on
this end.
Okay.
So you've got 5 XPB belts driving from that side. And nice thing on these as well for lubrication, they're all pipes, so you don't have to take any guards off.
Okay.
You pipe from there and direct into your room.
Okay. Is it only goes in one direction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can cut in both directions.
No, the reason I said that is because sometimes you get say for example a hedge cutter.
Yep.
And you can do the hedge in one direction, you do the grass in another, so that you.
Oh, because they've got the double-sided.
Yeah, so you don't blunt them basically on the grass.
Yeah.
when
With
you
these
wanna do a
though,
hedge.
because they don't have them go in reverse because they don't want to be knocking hammers off. People can put them in wrong because that's only a one direction cut.
Oh, they're reversible, aren't they?
Reversible edge, yeah. So you've got 2 cutting edges on that model.
Yeah, so we can
get
spin them
twice the
round.
time, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Oh,
then
good. It sounded like it took a lot of power out of it.
It takes a lot of power. Yeah, it does take a lot of power.
Okay.
It takes a lot of driving.
Yeah.
When
Mind you, though, you are.
and you're up to the max. Yeah, you're up to its capability.
Yes, you went and found the max, didn't you? Yeah. All right. Shall we just clear this bit here on this corner so I can see it doing the bramble, please? Yeah, what's interesting is that with the ditch digging now, it's such an important job for us in this business because we can't get the big yields, we can't get the machinery on the fields, we can't then drill the spring crops if we don't do the basics, which is ditch digging, mould draining, subsoiling, you know, doing the phosphates, potash, they're all basics.
Yeah.
And a lot of ditches haven't been dug probably for 50 years.
Yes.
So there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, sure.
It's almost neglected some parts. So
Yeah.
that's why we need these really heavy duty tools.
Yeah.
To should he have put the lid down?
When you're going into brash, sometimes that helps.
Oh, having it up.
Yeah, because you can see it allows the material to get into the rotor. So when you're going into tall stuff like that, but just watch ourselves. Yeah, we might back up a little bit from. So yeah, when you're going in, that just allows the material instead of you having to push everything underneath. And then when you want to do a mulch, and then you can then close the door, and you get that extra counter blade will then help the mulch and keep material onto the floor. Then
Are they expensive to run?
I mean the hammers, the wear time, but you know that's obviously the main wearing part on there.
What about, you know, is it a lot of fuel to run on the diggers? Oh, you can go in reverse with the header.
Exactly. Like we'll cut both ways. Yeah.
Oh, how interesting!
No,
I didn't appreciate that.
No, so your hammers are coming down at the moment, and that's how you work like your tractor different one. You go over in one direction and back and forwards, and then it will throw it the other way. It actually chucks it into the hood better because it's picking it up and it's throwing it up into the top part of those counter blades.
Right.
So going that way, that's when you then, you know, in the clockwise direction, you'll get a better mulch. And then coming anti-clockwise.
I think that's what I quite like about it, is that there's no residue left at the end.
No, I agree.
And
no
you know, otherwise we'd have been cutting bonfires, rounding up, trying to get the burn, smoke everywhere.
And then you're putting a lot of big stumps into the ground. Sometimes, aren't you? You're pushing them in. Yeah.
Well, when Graham then goes along to dig a ditch out, if it's all mulched up and he's not, because worst thing for us is if he's pulled out lumps of wood.
Yes.
It's then in the spoil. We then go with the cultivator to go and bring it back in the summer.
Up. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're creating a lot of damage or work.
Yeah, because you picked that up and it's got pushed in the ground. Brilliant.
Yeah, don't stop. Carry on.
He's enjoying that, isn't he?
I think he is. Well, just do another triangle. I think he was. He's missing out. He thinks he's missing out on the conversation. Like, yeah. That's a good mulcher, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pleased you like it. It's nice. Yeah. Quality.
Well, everything looks nice when it's painted. See what happens when he's run it for a day or two.
That's right. You've got adjustable skids on there meant as well, so if you don't want to go right to the ground, you can move them skids down lower.
Yeah.
And they've got wear plates on. So you can...
It's not a fast job, but it's hellishly effective.
Exactly. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing left.
No,
that's the difference, Graham, isn't it? Nothing left. I mean, the times we've had to chainsaw and burn and... Well, we had those snips, haven't we? We've got the snips somewhere.
Oh, the shear, yeah.
Sorry, shears. You bought the sweeper.
That's right, yeah.
And I ended up buying it.
Yeah.
Now, before you get excited, I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to run off.
Gonna go, are you?
But as I understand it, because like Simon's, Graham's tractor here, digger, that's a 8-ton.
Yes.
There is a smaller one, isn't there?
Yeah.
But it would go on the 8-ton.
Exactly. There's a model called THI, and that's rated from 4 to 8-ton.
Yeah.
You know, capacity, and there again.
But we don't have to have it on a 13.
No.
We could actually just run these as we normally do.
Yes.
It's just that we're hiring this machine, and this works well.
Yeah.
And actually, because a slightly bigger head, bit more power.
Yeah.
We're not using this digger for ditching at all. We're only using this for snipping and mulching, flailing.
Yeah.
And actually, it's keeping ahead of Graham. And Graham's moving a lot of water.
Right, yes.
A lot of water off this farm.
So you need someone to keep in front of him. Yeah. No,
I mean, it's actually a job, interestingly, that will never end on farms. It's never one of those things that I'm going to get to the end. It's like the fourth bridge. I'm going to have to start again at the other end and go again.
Tilting up, aren't they? Exactly, yeah.
So we have to often do culverts within 5 years, and then we're every 10 years. I think we're going to have to go back along, do a skip out and things. Yeah.
Keep on top.
Unless some are bad, but we're doing them properly, or Graham's doing them properly. So there shouldn't be an issue. It's only if the banks collapse or something like that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, no, definitely.
But no,
like I said, they do a range of heads, like I said, right from 1.5 tons to 40 tons on excavators. So there's a lot in the series. Yeah.
I have no aspiration for 40 ton digger.
That's it.
What do you think, Graham? 40 ton digger? No. You're bad enough in that, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's all mulched up. So it's done a nice job, and it just took it down to the ground. We can then control that with a normal flail mower. So this is we just cleared this part of the ditch here. They've got these brambles away. You're going to tidy all that up in a minute. Graham's just come and pulled them away. But there's an example. The ditch is, so the pipe is over half full.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get in there, Graham, and just get that running, that's going to make a difference. I wonder if that pipe's silted up. But, well, you just moved a bit anyway, so I bet that pipe was 3/4 full, wasn't it? Yeah. But, I mean, there's a lot of water keep trying to come down. I think it's going to gush when you clear it. So Raymond's come down on the Unimog with the brush on, just because the sprayers are out, and we need to make sure we keep the roads nice and clean. So he'll have to sit down here and wait when they move the... this is an adventure. 19th of February. It's just coming up to 1:30, so a bit late for getting this outro, but there we go. So been down to have a look at the Moultrie flail today, which was interesting. Richard James, a great man from Suffolk that used to do baling for us, he sent me some videos today where he did some drone footage of Mark Moxham on the sugar beet underneath a mouse, and he's got a bigger trailer because which is not in our colours, so he can close the sheet, whereas ours are a bit smaller, which makes them lightweight but not so good for sugar beet. So some questions which have come through. What am I going to do if the GPS completely fail? If the tram line's already in, we can just drive where they are and see what it is. If they haven't in, I think I'm going to run off to the Hive and have some lunch and wait for it to come back. That's my only backup plan. And open day, we're getting some momentum on that now. We're getting some good support from sponsors. Overwhelmed actually how generous some companies are and how they want to be part of what we're doing, and also they're part of what we do now by supporting us with machinery. So ever grateful for them. So you'll see the very best of those guys at the open day. And it's a bit cold today, but they did 140 hectares, Kieran did on the sprayer yesterday afternoon, and Sandy did 105, so they've got straight back into it. They had to wait this morning just for the conditions to come right. Then they were back out again, and then they're coming back to the farm here, and they're going to start liquid fertilising over in Longstanton and then working back this way. So it'd be good to see the fertiliser starting the tankers back out on the lorries. But thanks ever so much, everybody, for been watching. Keep on subscribing, keep knocking those numbers up. We're nearly at 21,000. Come on, we can do it. Let's make this video the one where we get to 21. And fingers crossed the sun comes out and it's a better half of the week.